In today's world, distractions are everywhere. Social media, work stress, constant noise, emotional turbulence, it's overwhelming. Have you ever tried to find clarity but felt like your mind was stuck in chaos? That feeling of not being able to think straight, to make decisions, or just to breathe? What if there was a way to control your mind in the midst of all this? What if you could train yourself to stay calm, focused, and unshakable? Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, found a way, a method, that's still as powerful today as it was thousands of years ago. Understanding Marcus's secret to clear thinking. Aurelius was an emperor, yet he faced immense pressure and constant conflict, but somehow he managed to maintain mental clarity and peace despite everything. The key to his mental strength was something he called internal control. He knew he couldn't control the world, but he could control his responses. He understood that external circumstances would always be unpredictable, but his ability to manage his thoughts and emotions was entirely within his power. One of his daily practices was journaling. He would write down his thoughts and feelings, not to vent, but to gain perspective. He used his journal to ask himself questions like, "What can I control?" and "What should I let go of?" This allowed him to filter out the noise and focus on what truly mattered. His journal was a tool for clarity, reflection, and self-awareness. In our fast-paced lives, we're often flooded with external information, tasks, and emotions. We rarely take the time to pause and reflect. But what if you could clear the noise? What if you could practice Aurelius's method of checking in with yourself daily, asking what truly matters and focusing on the things you can change? The beauty of his practice is that it's simple yet profound. It doesn't require hours of meditation or specialized training, just a few minutes a day of honest self-reflection. By consciously deciding to focus only on what is within your control, you free yourself from the burden of worrying about things you can't change. You can do this today. Spend just 5 minutes in the morning or evening writing down your thoughts, checking in with your emotions, and setting your intentions. This clears your mind and aligns you with what's truly important. It helps you separate yourself from the chaos and focus on the present moment. Instead of reacting impulsively to the world around you, you take a step back, allowing yourself the clarity to choose your response thoughtfully. Marcus's method of internal control wasn't just about writing down his thoughts, though. It was about developing a disciplined mindset that allowed him to remain calm amidst chaos. He recognized that most of life's challenges are outside of our control, whether it's the actions of others, the world's circumstances, or unexpected events. But he also understood that the one thing no one could take from him was his inner state. By regularly journaling, he gained the clarity needed to distinguish between what he could change and what he couldn't. This daily practice created a space for self-reflection, enabling him to separate his emotions from his actions. It wasn't about ignoring his feelings, but acknowledging them without letting them dictate his responses. In our daily lives, we often get caught up in the whirlwind of external pressures and emotions. It's easy to react impulsively, letting stress, anger, or frustration cloud our judgment. But by adopting Marcus's practice of checking in with ourselves, whether through journaling or simply pausing to reflect, we can train our minds to focus on what truly matters, reducing the noise that distracts us from living with purpose and peace. By taking just a few minutes each day for this practice, you empower yourself to cultivate a clear and calm mindset, no matter what life throws at you. Just like Marcus Aurelius, you can find peace within yourself, even when the world around you feels chaotic. The power of perspective. Aurelius often reminded himself of the impermanence of life. He wasn't obsessed with death, but rather he used the awareness of it to create perspective. Nothing lasts forever, and this simple realization helped him let go of unnecessary stress. When we get caught up in our daily problems, we forget that most of them are temporary. Aurelius practiced this perspective daily. Whenever he was frustrated or anxious, he would remind himself, "This too shall pass." You can apply this technique today. When you feel overwhelmed, pause and remind yourself that the current challenge is only temporary. Look at it from a higher perspective. This practice gives you the freedom to act, knowing that the things you stress over today may not matter tomorrow. The people and situations that cause us anxiety or frustration will change over time, just as we do. Embracing this awareness allows you to detach emotionally from your challenges. When you remember that everything is in constant motion, you can respond with calmness and clarity instead of reacting with fear or stress. By making this shift, you free yourself from the emotional burden that often comes with problems, big or small. Perspective doesn't just change the way you view life, it transforms how you live it. Emotional control, the key to mental clarity. Aurelius believed that our emotions are the result of our judgments. If we see something as a threat, we feel fear. If we view something as unfair, we feel anger. But what if we could choose how we perceive things? In his writings, Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." This is the core of emotional intelligence. You have the power to control your responses to external events. The key is to understand that emotions don't come from the world around you, they come from how you choose to interpret the world. So, when something triggers you, whether it's a rude comment, a stressful project, or a delay in your plans, pause and question your reaction. Is your anger justified? Is your stress necessary? Can you choose a different perspective? This mental shift doesn't happen overnight, but it's a muscle you can develop. Start by practicing this awareness every time you feel triggered. Over time, you'll find your reactions become more measured and your mind stays clearer. Instead of reacting impulsively, you'll respond with intention and your emotional landscape will begin to calm. The more you practice, the easier it becomes to detach from external events and protect your peace. It's not about suppressing emotions, but about giving yourself the space to choose how you engage with them. Control the controllables. One of the most powerful lessons from Aurelius was the practice of focusing on what's in your control. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." How often do we waste mental energy trying to control things we can't change? The weather, other people's opinions, or past mistakes. We stress over things that are out of our hands. But Aurelius taught that the only true control we have is over our actions, our thoughts, and our mindset. So, when you feel anxiety creeping in, ask yourself, what can I control in this situation? If you're feeling stressed at work, focus on how you respond. If you're anxious about the future, focus on what you can do today to improve. The more you center your energy on controlling the controllables, the more unshakable your mindset becomes. It's a quiet form of power, choosing to master your reactions instead of the world. Life becomes lighter when you stop resisting what you can't change and start taking ownership of what you can. That's where true peace lives, in self-mastery. And remember, this isn't about ignoring problems, it's about shifting your energy to where it actually counts. You reclaim your power not by fighting the storm, but by steering your ship through it with intention and clarity. That's how resilience is built. Marcus Aurelius's mindset wasn't about avoiding challenges or pretending everything was fine. It was about embracing life as it is, learning to respond with wisdom, and letting go of the things you can't change. Today, take just one lesson from Aurelius's method and apply it to your life, whether it's journaling, practicing perspective, controlling your emotions, or focusing on the controllables. These simple practices will help you build an unshakable mindset. Remember, clarity doesn't come from waiting for the world to calm down. It comes from mastering how you think, how you respond, and how you control your inner world. So, which of these strategies will you start with? Don't wait for perfection, start now, and watch how your mindset transforms.